Okay, very good. Okay? Okay. Okay, welcome back. Okay, this is it, you diehards. This is the last show of the evening. Okay, a lot of you, thank you. Those of you who bought the Gun Crazy book, all kinds of fascinating things I could tell you about that movie. In the film that you saw of me interviewing Peggy, I did that before I embarked on the writing of the book. So I was saying things in the interview that just simply were not true, because I didn't know the facts until I researched the book. There was a rear end on the car because it was a huge Cadillac limousine, like a 2-ton Cadillac limo that she was driving through Montrose, California, where they shot that single-take bank robbery. And I just love the whole story of the history of that and the fact that they did that entire thing without any permits. Obviously, the guy who played the cop was an actor named Robert Osterloh, who was in on the whole thing, but in truth, they actually dressed him in a police officer's uniform and had him come around the corner, and we're doing this without police authorization or anything. And it's like filmmaking on the run, just like the characters in the movie, and quite fantastic. And I'm happy to say that since we actually had Peggy in San Francisco, she is still going strong. It's just sensational. I got to go to France and do a whole triumphant tour in France with her when the Blu-ray of Gun Crazy came out over there. I blew Quentin Tarantino's mind when I introduced him to Peggy, and he got down on his knees and worshipped her. It was very cool. Okay, the other day we did a thing where I said we were doing a donation drive, and we had some prize winners of the Mark Ferdig's Film Noir poster book that was published here in Seattle by Fantagraphics. And the winners of those, there are actually 2 winners because they both gave the same amount of dough, and we're going to be giving those books to Chris Newell, if Chris is here. Chris Newell. Well, I'm not going to give it to you right now. You can pick it up at the merch table after the show. And also to Jennifer Green. If Jennifer Green is here in the house, those are the winners of the 2 programs. And here's the deal. We also were giving out just a random one, and that is going to John Noe. And I know John, who's here. And John, we're just going to give you your pick of anything you want out there, because I do believe that John holds the record for he has been at every single Noir City screening since I've started doing this in Seattle. So John, you are the man. So, greatly appreciated. Okay, now the reason we're showing Southside 1000 is the second half of this double bill. This truly is a B movie, also produced by the King brothers. This is the film that they did after Gun Crazy. And they had a bad experience with Gun Crazy because it was distributed by United Artists, Gun Crazy, which was going through a major upheaval at the time that they decided to align themselves with UA. And the first thing that United Artists did was change the title of the movie. From Gun Crazy, they held a contest to see who could rename the movie to make it more successful. And it was renamed Deadly is the Female. Oh my God. You know what the prize was? $50. And it's not even worth $50, that title, right? But that's how they released it originally. And it just died. Because 1950, when it was released, as you've heard me say this many times, 1950 was the greatest year for motion pictures in Hollywood history, not 1939. It was 1950, and so many great movies were coming out in that spring and early summer that Deadly is the Female got kind of buried, and it never was the A-picture, innovative picture that the King brothers thought it was going to be. They pulled it from theaters. They lost all the momentum with the picture, and they ended up releasing it 6 months later on the bottom half of double bills as Gun Crazy. And very, very few critics, although there were some, recognized it for the really innovative and amazing film that it was. I mean, I won't go into all the history of it, but if you know your French cinema and you've watched your French New Wave and you've seen Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless, you know that Gun Crazy was a huge influence on him. with the way Joe Louis used the camera, and that many of those scenes with Belmondo flying around in the stolen cars were lifted right out of Gun Crazy, which Godard was always happy to acknowledge. And when Benton and Newman, the screenwriters of Bonnie and Clyde, asked Godard to read their script because they wanted him to direct it, his response was to say, well, this should be shot just like Gun Crazy. And they said, what's Gun Crazy? and he and Francois Truffaut, who was with him in New York, arranged a screening so that they could see Gun Crazy. And, you know, I've written other essays about the direct lineage of Gun Crazy to Breathless to Bonnie and Clyde. But it was a hugely influential film. And to show you what a director and great actors and a really clever screenwriter could do, Southside 1000, their follow-up film, was supposed to be directed by Joseph H. Lewis, and it was actually at one point going to star John Dahl and Peggy Cummins, because they thought Gun Crazy was going to be a hit. But in fact, none of that happened, and Joseph H. Lewis, in a way, sort of betrayed the King brothers, because he dropped them when MGM offered him a contract, and he went back to a big studio and was no longer working for these innovative King brothers. And they forged ahead and made this movie as the follow-up with most of the same crew that made Gun Crazy. And you'll see some remarkable things in this movie as well. It's no Gun Crazy, trust me. But this brings the whole festival full circle, because if you were here on the opening Friday night and you saw Stranger on the Third Floor, directed by Boris Ingster, yes, this movie is also directed by Boris Ingster, like the only two films that he made during that entire period. The first one in 1940, and then this one in 1950. Otherwise, he was toiling in complete obscurity. So this is the close, a very interesting semi-documentary gangbuster thing where Don DeFore goes undercover to break up a counterfeiting ring run by a woman. Another theme that we've had here in Noir City. So again, I hope you enjoy this. This is a preservation that the Film Noir Foundation paid to have made. This is the only 35mm print you're going to see of this movie. It's in our collection now at the UCLA Film and Television Archive. All of this thanks to people who come out and still watch these movies in movie theaters in 35mm. I thank you. Thank you very much for coming out this year. We will see you back here next year in the next edition of Noir City. Wait. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm going to tempt fate. I'm going to thank the people in the booth. It's been a spectacular job this week. I really appreciate the staff here at the Egyptian Theater and projectionists that still know how to show 35mm film. Josh Wakeland, Mark Callender, Miles McRae, Lauren Wilson, and Mike Pearson. I salute you. Enjoy Southside 1.